Imagine a world powered by steam and muscle. A world where digging a canal took years, sometimes decades, of backbreaking labor. This was the world Alfred Nobel was born into in 1833. His father, Emmanuel, was an inventor and engineer, a man who saw problems and imagined solutions. Young Alfred was often frail, but his mind was a powerhouse. He was curious. He was brilliant. He traveled, he learned, he soaked up knowledge like a sponge. He became fluent in several languages, but his true language was chemistry. The intricate dance of molecules, the hidden power locked inside matter, this was his playground. He was fascinated by a particularly volatile substance, nitroglycerin. It was powerful, yes, but dangerously unstable. A slight jolt, a change in temperature, and it could unleash its fury without warning. An explosion at their family factory in Stockholm tragically claimed the life of his younger brother Emil and several others. The authorities forbade further experiments within the city limits. But Alfred Nobel was not a man to be deterred by tragedy or regulation. He took his laboratory to a barge, floating on a lake, continuing his relentless pursuit of a safe and controllable explosive. The universe has a way of showing us our reflection, sometimes in the most unexpected and jarring ways. For Alfred Nobel, that reflection appeared one morning in 1888, printed in black and white in a French newspaper. He picked it up, perhaps with his morning coffee, and began to read his own obituary. It read, "Le marchand de la mort est mort," the merchant of death is dead. The article went on to describe him as a man who had become rich by finding new ways to mutilate and kill people faster than ever before. Imagine the shock, the cold dread. Alfred Nobel, the man who saw his inventions as tools for construction and progress, was being remembered as a purveyor of destruction. He had spent his life building an empire based on what he believed was a force for good, yet the obituary focused on the inevitable military applications of his work. Staring at those words, the merchant of death, he was forced to confront a profound and uncomfortable truth. How would the world truly remember him? The thought horrified him. All the wealth, all the patents, all the factories across the globe. What did they mean if his ultimate contribution to humanity was seen as a legacy of pain? It ignited in Nobel a deep, burning desire to rewrite his own story, to redefine his name for all time. Haunted by the vision of his own grim legacy, Alfred Nobel spent the final years of his life in quiet contemplation, crafting a plan. This would be his final and greatest invention. It wasn't a chemical compound, or a mechanical device. It was an idea for how his immense fortune could be used to serve humanity long after he was gone. In 1895, a year before his death, he sat down and signed his last will and testament. It was a document that would stun his relatives, and eventually change the world. He directed that the bulk of his estate should be used to establish a series of prizes. The will was specific, revolutionary in its scope. It outlined 5 distinct categories. Physics, for the most important discovery or invention in the physical sciences. Chemistry, for the most significant chemical discovery or improvement. Physiology or medicine, for the greatest advancement in understanding life and health. Literature, to be given to the person who produced the most outstanding work in an ideal direction. But it was the 5th prize that was the most direct answer to his dark reputation. A prize for peace. On December 10, 1901, the first Nobel Prizes were awarded. Wilhelm Röntgen received the prize in physics for his discovery of X-rays, a new way to see inside the human body. The chemistry prize went to Jacobus van 't Hoff. Emil von Behring won physiology or medicine for developing a serum to treat diphtheria. In literature, Sully Prudhomme was honored. The first Peace Prize was shared by Frederick Passy and Henry Dunant, giants of compassion. The Merchant of Death was now the patron saint of progress. From that day forward, the Nobel Prize became a kind of constellation, a map of human achievement. Think of the names. Marie Curie, the only person to win in 2 different scientific fields. Albert Einstein, honored for the photoelectric effect, reshaping our understanding of space and time. Martin Luther King Jr., who received the Peace Prize in 1964 for his nonviolent struggle for civil rights. Today, the Nobel Prize is the global standard for excellence. It tells us that ideas matter, that discovery matters, and that striving for a more peaceful, enlightened world is a goal worthy of our greatest efforts.